All right, I see the store. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Let's join.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? All right. Let me share my screen. It's in my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now, Alex.
Yeah.
Cool. Hi everybody. Welcome to the Harvard community meeting. So the agenda for today is mainly two items. First, CSD, which I pulled up here, will present the work they did to integrate their image scanner with Harvard. So CSD is a company specializing in, it's like the intersection of security and DevOps engineering. So security geared towards cloud native world. And then Alvaro from CSD will also present the improvement he made on the OIDC user onboarding workflow. And if we have time, we can also demo the non-blocking garbage collection, which will be delivered as part of the 2.1. So I'll take it away, or next store. So let me stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to show you just the adapter we built for use CSD Secure on top of Harbor. I mean, I'm going to start with the slides just for introduce myself. This is a photo about me just several years before I have my twins. And I love to say that about me because I have two twins that are more or less 3 years old. So that means that I'm probably the person in the entire world with the most passion, the most passionate person in the entire world. So if you have some questions, some doubt, please stop me, and I will be happy to help and so that. Okay, the point about this short meeting is that Secure loves Harbor. All of us already know about what is Harbor. It's an open source container image registry. It has the airbag. It has image scanning features, also image syncing. It also is able to host Helm charts, another kind of stuff. The good point for us is that by default, Harbor ships in the 2.0 version with Trivi, and it has two image scanner by default. One is Claire and the other is Trivi. But it's open to implement your own scanner and use it. Okay, this is so that's the point that we did in this project. For all of you that doesn't know about Secure, well, CSD is a company that basically does a couple of things with system calls. I mean, we have a product which is called CSD Monitor that basically you deploy your agent in your cluster, and we know just sniffing all the system calls that are happening in the host, and we can use that information, the information we retrieve from the system calls, and we mixed with the Kubernetes metadata, so that we can offer two visions. One is for monitor, and the other is for security. You know, a system call is the primitive from the operating system that when you try to open a file to write on it, or if you try to read out from a file, or if you are trying to open a socket to communicate to other part, we know about that, and we aggregate this information for monitoring purposes, and also the other part is for security reasons. I mean, if someone is trying to read from your ETC shadow, we know, and it's really likely that that person is going to try to know the passwords that are registered in your system. Or for example, if someone is trying to replace your BNLS command for other kind of command, it's altering your system and maybe a dangerous, a security threat. I mean, so for the security part, I love to showcase only 4 points. One is the runtime security in the forms that I explained to you. Even we can also ingest information at the cluster level using the Kubernetes audit log. That means if you are trying to deploy, imagine the case, you are trying to create a config map, and in that config map, you are storing your AWS key, just in plain text, we can warn about that. Or you are trying to deploy, for example, an ingress and you don't have a TLS certificate associated to it, we can raise the hand and what are you doing? Okay, we also cover, we also have image scanning features with the, we also have support for VulnDB feeds. We also have a good stuff about forensic analysis, as long as we are capturing all the system calls that happens in the system. We know all the things that are happening on that, and we can take a photo about the system. More or less, more than take a photo is more like record a video in a period of time and know how the system, the host has behaved on that system, and also the compliance paths, PCI, NIST, IPA. These are the 4 parts that we currently have. How Harbor and Secure fit together, how the love is possible. We wanted to extend the Harbor image scanning capabilities with the feature we have in Secure. And we do in 2 different ways. One is the backend scanning. This is a typical scanning that you are going to expect from other software as a service vendors, where you just ping about the backend, about the new image, the new tag, I mean, and then the backend pulls the image and do the analysis in the CSD infrastructure. I mean, in the cloud vendor, in the SaaS infrastructure. And the other way that I wanted to show you is the inline scanning. The inline scanning happens in the same infrastructure where Harbor is deployed. That means in some cases, we usually work more with on-prem installations, but in some cases, some people prefer to use their own infrastructure to do this kind of analysis for performance, for avoiding queue times or something like that. Okay, and I'm just going to show you how the information is present, and I'm going to, I think I'm going to show you how the jobs has been spawning in Kubernetes to do the inline scan. I mean, the backend, all of us knows about the backend. This is the scan results for Secure. For example, the Harbor Python, we can see just the same information. Tick tock, tick tock. It's loading. Okay, it's loading. Okay, the dimway effect, you know about this. Okay, I'm going to reload. Oh, okay, waiting is not fun. Okay, summary and the vulnerabilities. Okay, the point about this is that we can see the same information here, and if we go to the Harbor Python 3.5, I think scan 3.4 lane, for example, we can see the same, we can present this information in the same way that other scanners does. The good point about this, I'm going to switch to, I'm going to share from a terminal, okay? I think most of you are familiar with K9S. Is just a CLI tool to see the Kubernetes cluster. And then I'm going to check for another Harbor Python. I'm going to try to, okay, Docker pull Python 3.4. Okay, I'm pulling the Python version. I'm going to add the tag and push the image, and we will see how we spawn the inline scanning job. Okay, pull complete. Okay. Docker tag, I think. This is for other demo, internal demo I did. I'm tagging and I'm just pushing, not pushing, sorry. Okay, I'm pushing it to Harbor, and as soon as Harbor notifies about the scanning, we will see here a post request. See, pushing. Perhaps using a slim version could be better for the demo purpose. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, it's pushed. So we will receive here the post to API v1 scan. And the next line is the health check and wrapping. Yeah, wrapping. We can see here in this line that is trying to get the report. The bad news I have to tell you is that the good news is that we spawn the inline scan, but my colleagues from Secure deployed this morning a breaking change in the API, so that if we check the log, we will see that error. But it's not a problem because I had other jobs working on other logs on that I created before of that. The point here is that we spawn the job and we spawn the job and we download a container that contains all the vulnerability, all the scanning analysis infrastructure needed, so that we can spawn that in a job on Kubernetes, perform here, I mean in Kubernetes, the scanning analysis and send back the results to Secure. And that's it, and that's the point I wanted to show you. I don't want to show you another demo for the backend scanning because I'm pretty sure you are also allowed with it. And expect that in a few days I will publish a new fix of this scanner. I mean, here is the project Here is the project in CSD Labs in GitHub, so that we are also open to pull requests or whatever. You have more details, and we also have a detailed guide to deploy this in your cluster. And this is everything on my side. I don't want to cannibalize or take all the time for the community call. Thank you for the opportunity to showcase this. And I think if you have some questions, I'm open. I will be glad to answer them.
And Nestor, this is awesome, by the way. Thank you thank you and your team for doing the work and integrating with Harbor. This is amazing. This is good stuff. We really appreciate it. And
yeah, I'm a bit sad about the demo effect. But you know, most of us are used to this kind of things, and I'm so sorry for this. I will try to fix
Things
that.
happen. The demo gods
Yeah,
are
yeah.
not always happy, but you know, we appreciate the work. The fact that your team is integrating and expanding Harbor to CSD customers, this is great. You know, we have an opportunity
Yeah.
now to give customers choice about what scanner to use across
Yeah.
the board, and this is very important to us as being good ecosystem citizens. And as a graduated project, we want to work very well with everybody, and we appreciate the effort
Yeah.
that your team did to come and work with us.
Okay, thank you. No, actually, we have a couple of clients that are really that they would love to try this integration. So it's pretty good actually.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot, Restore. I think there are a lot of security tools that are with the Docker world right now. Can you talk about just briefly where Sysdig fits into the picture? You know, what problems you're trying to solve? You know, as compared to something like Privy by Encore or Privy by Aqua or Encore.
Yeah. Actually, was really helpful. I mean, the spec for pluggable scanner is pretty well documented, and also having the other implementations as a reference, the Anchor one, the Aqua one, the Clear one, was pretty helpful. I mean, if just I had some time to dedicate only to this project, I can ship it faster. But it could have been shipped faster, but as you know, we also have more work than hands to do the work. But was pretty easy, and the documentation was pretty good. So thank you for the work on that.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And up next, Alvaro, do you want to present the work that you did on IDC user onboarding? Maybe talk about what the problem is and how we landed on this approach.
Yeah. Let me share my screen and I'll explain what this feature is about. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
The one with the pull request, right?
Yep.
I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. So basically, well, now I am a mate of Nestor. I work for Sysdig since November, but this feature was developed right before I was hired by Sysdig. I was working by Adidas, and our infrastructure was based on Artifactory and Active Directory, and we were migrating to Harbor and Microsoft Azure based. So what we wanted to do is use OpenID as identity provider to unify all our tools, and we found Harbor had support for it, but we were missing a couple of critical things for us. One was the group support, that some work had already started by the time we started using Harbor around ropes. And then the other one was this one, which is included in this pull request. So basically, I will do a demo. Okay, I have one Harbor here configured to use some Active Directory inside Azure. And the problem now is, for example, if I try to log in via OpenID, I click my user in here. Okay. Probably two-factor authentication, yeah. So let me check my mobile and approve it. Yeah. So this is the standard OpenID Connect flow, right? And now I'm taken to the onboard screen. So I see two problems in here. One is the username. The username, if you check the ID token that is returned from Microsoft Identity Provider, the default, I have a better example in here. The default claim in the token contains the full username, including spaces, dots, and whatever. So I get something in here, which is what we didn't want in Adidas. We wanted normalized and unique username. Okay, and then the other thing we couldn't allow is the user to type its own username. So in this pull request, we are adding a couple of options. Hopefully this will be merged soon, if I'm not wrong. It went through thoughtful review, and we made some changes, better error handling. So basically, one of the first, it's these 2 points, but basically, one of the first customizations is you can choose the claim from where the username is taken. So if I put, for example, email in here, now when I log in via OIDC, the username is taken from that claim instead, which, for example, for us, the username, the email, sorry, is a better approach than using the full name. In fact, in Adidas, we were using the SAM account name attribute that came from the synchronization with Active Directory, but for example, email, in this case, might be a better approach. And then the second change is this automatic onboarding option that skips the onboarding screen at all. So if you don't want the user to be able to change the username, and you choose a good username claiming here, making sure that the username will be unique per each user, then just clicking in here will automatically onboard the user, skip the onboard screen, and then the user didn't have the chance to set a different username. Okay, I think it's enough for demo. We tested the other day some error conditions, like if the user was duplicate, get an error and similar, but basically that's it. So thank you. If you have any questions, just let me know.
This is great work, Alvaro. This is awesome. It's great. I think, definitely we'll make it to 2.1, I think, from what I had heard before from Daniel. But thank you for coming and contributing, and I'm glad that this solves a need that for your organization.
I'm glad it's helpful. I think many users were asking for a similar feature. We were in Adidas, so I can imagine that other organizations were suffering the same issue. So we thought we are taking Harbor from the community, so we must give to the community back. And this is what we gave, this pull request. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, especially contributing to the project even after you had left Adidas. And yeah, we had gotten some complaint from, I believe it was Air France KLM and another company as well, another user, Harvard. Yeah, it's just, it wasn't in line with how people were using RDC as a lot. So I think we still have, does anyone have any other questions on either of these two demos? All right, I think we can move on to Pauline. Do you want to demo the non-blocking garbage collection?
Okay, let me share my screen.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen? Oh.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So I'm working on the implementation of non-blocking GC, but not done yet. And part of the source code has been merged into the master branch, but others are still in the development. And today I will give you a E2E demo on my debugging environment. From the user perspective, there's not much difference with the previous version garbage collection. But in the backend, we drop the dependency on the distribution garbage collection. That means Harbor no longer relies on the distribution to do the garbage collection. So we calculate the reference count of each blob based on the Harbor database, and also implement the blob and the manifest deletion API that bases on the distribution source code to handle the file deletion directly. And here I have a demo thread to constantly push hello world into a library project. And that simulates the user to push image when Harbor in GC, so you can pay attention to the console output. So in the previous version Harbor, when system admin triggers a garbage collection, if user is pushing an image at this time, he will get a failure immediately because Harbor rejects any modification request like this. So when Harbor in read-only mode. So you can see that the push is failure by the read-only mode. So so let me show you some different today in the non-block GC. Let's see what we have now. We have two projects. So one is the library. So the backend demo slide is continue pushing the hello world into library. So if I try to delete it, it's gonna be back immediately because the backend slide is pushing. So we have another project that the name demo. I have a Redis manifest in this project. Yeah, this is what we have in these two projects. And back into the local storage, let's just see what we have now. For the storage, the folder hierarchy, we can see we have a lot of blobs, manifest, and links. So totally, we have more than 100 files in the local file system. So let's start the demo now. Let me delete the Redis. Okay, let me switch to the demo thread terminal. And let me delete the Redis first, and then to trigger garbage collection. So you can pay attention to the backend console. So now the garbage collection is done now. So the demo thread is working as expectation. So no, is no failure. The garbage collection will not block the pushing. So from the log, we can see that Harbor marked several blobs for deletion, and totally we marked them 47 blobs and 8 manifest, and delete them one by one from the backend storage. So use the API I mentioned about the implemented by ourselves. So let's back to see the local file system here. And we can see that most of the blobs are removed from the storage, and there's only 3 left. This is the hello world. And several files are removed by the garbage collection. And this is all the demo from me. So any question about that? Hey, Alex, Anita.
Thanks, Vanya. Anybody have any questions?
I must say thanks also because this was one of the missing features also back in Adidas, the blocking garbage collection, because there were like several terabytes of images and we had to schedule the garbage collection for Saturday nights to don't interrupt the developer. So thank you very much. This is very welcome.
Yeah, basically, we were calling the native garbage collection capabilities. We were leveraging that of the distribution. They didn't quite open it up to the level that we would have liked to be able to do it in a non-pausing way. And so eventually we just took into our own hands and came up with this.
Yeah, so I would also like to thank Ian on this. I think this feature is required by a lot of community users for a long time. I'm very glad that we solving this in our 2.1 release. Great job.
Absolutely, I want to echo that. Without this feature, Harbor cannot scale. As more and more customers are putting terabytes and terabytes data on Harbor, having a significant downtime period to be able to reclaim storage and clean up the environment is not acceptable. So this is awesome. We got to it, and 2.1 will have this feature along with many others. So this is very exciting for Harbor.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all we have for this. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, things that they want to discuss? Can open up for a few minutes. We can end early if everybody's okay. By the way, we will be releasing a 2.0.1 today, either today or tomorrow.
When are we releasing 1.10.x 4, I think is the next one, for to cover some of the same features as 2.0.1. We can take that offline in our Harbor Slack channels.
The next one is 1.14.
Yeah, we are going to release that like in 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Okay, Steven, let's talk offline. It might not work. Has to be a little bit sooner.
Okay.
Yeah, someone is mentioning remove untagged in chat. Basically, we added a toggle or the ability to remove untagged images or to prevent those from being garbage collected. That previously was not available. It was part of the a byproduct of the work that we did for supporting OCI images that we started, tracking. We added the concept of a harbor tag. So
well, essentially the
untag in the sense that there's no.
Yeah, so essentially removing, when you click the option remove untagged, you're getting the same experience as to prior to Harbor 2.0. Because as soon as an image was not tagged in Harbor, it was already gone from the UI, so it would have been garbage collected. Right, Alex? If it wasn't referenced?
Yep.
So remove untagged offers you a similar experience. The only difference here is that Harbor 2.0, if you don't have a tag on an image or an artifact, it still shows up in the UI. So you can add the tag to it. While before, if there's no tag on an image, it was just gone. There's no reference to it. The UI wouldn't show it.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not viewable. Like people have always been complaining that they thought they didn't push it correctly, but they were able to pull the image because it was actually pushed correctly. You just couldn't see it. With 2.0, you can view all the untagged images. You can add or remove tag on a single image. It's just a lot more granular. All right, that's all we have today. We're gonna end here. Thanks to everyone for attending. See you next time.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.